On this episode, you can hear the king of innhopps, Evan Rokne, and Skydive Voss's operations manager, Fredrick Wendt, discussing Skydive Voss's past, present, and future. Fredrick has been working at Voss for just less than a year, and at the end of June, it'll be Voss's busiest week, Extreme Sports Week. For Evan, it will be number 20. And there is more banter than you can shake a brown Skydive Voss t-shirt at. Well, hello there. Today is the 1st of June 2026, and this is RSUK episode 109. Joining me from Norway, I'm super excited, the king of innhopps in the red, white, and blue corner, Evan Rokne. Hello, mate. How are you?
Hello, doing great.
Also joining us from Norway, in the red, white, and blue corner from Norwegian colours, in a brown t-shirt, Fredrick. Hello,
Yeah,
mate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Spectacular. Loving the brown t-shirt, mate.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's
The
good,
Voss
isn't
heart
it?
shape. Yeah,
We've got matching t-shirts on for our listeners who can't see us, what we did. And Craig from the red, white, and blue corner from the UK. Hello, mate.
Uh,
How are you doing?
I feel very overdressed. I'm not wearing any skydiving apparel.
Oh, you've got a collar on as well. You're so smart.
Yeah.
Bringing an air of professionalism to us. Can't tell what colour your shirt is, though, but it's not brown. Letting the side down.
Yeah, pinky colors. Very metro.
Hey guys, so listeners, if you would like to contribute to future shows, post on social media and tag hashtag Radio Skydive UK, or email us, or better yet, record some audio on your smartphone and send it to studio@radioskydive.uk. We'd love to hear from you. Craig, we had Buzz on the show 3 or 4 episodes ago, Buzz from the chief instructor of Skydive Tilstock, but they had some sadish news.
Yeah, I mean, he alluded to it in the show. I think we talked about the aircraft issues that are affecting the sport at the moment, and I'll be interested to hear if that goes wider, perhaps to Norway. I don't know how the aircraft systems work over there, but yeah, Buzz already knew back when he was on the show that there were problems with the aircraft, a shortage of aircraft in the UK because of maintenance issues, and as a result of that, the maintenance issues are ongoing, delayed, so they are not going to have the aircraft that they wanted in time for the Rainbow Boogie, which is
Which would have
probably
been last weekend, I think.
their biggest event of the year, probably what Tilstock's well known for. So yeah, I think they looked at trying to rearrange, but it's a bit late in the year now because it's full up with other things and activities going on. So they
Yeah,
made
totally.
the sad decision to cancel, unfortunately. But yeah, so it I was trying to think who else I saw had aircraft issues over there. I think it wasn't that so much an aircraft issue. It was Black Knights. I think they're finally getting their caravan back after maintenance. So yeah, it's a bit of an issue at the moment. How's it work in Norway? Are there any aircraft problems over there?
Like ha we are leasing from a guy. So for us, like he has a fleet of aircraft, so we don't really notice much of it. But he just handles everything. So I guess it's pros and cons with having your own versus leasing. And there's some clubs that have their own planes, and they also struggle a bit. But yeah, we don't really notice too much.
And is it all skydiving aircraft that the guy you leased from? Is
Yeah.
all these aircraft used for skydiving? And they're
Yeah.
they're all caravans?
Yeah, he has some caravans, and he's also leasing to other clubs in Norway. So he's leasing, I know, to Oslo as well. That's a porter, and he has like caravans. We only use caravans, and we use 206s sometimes if we need to supplement the activity a little bit. Yeah, but I think he has a
Is
good amount
is
of different. Yeah.
is that the main source of aircraft in Norway? Skydiving aircraft?
Uh, we used to use a guy in the UK. Like we used to have Gareth over here, from the UK. And then when he took his caravan over back to the UK again, then we had to find out something else, and then we went to this guy. So I think it's only like in Norway we're like the biggest club by far, and then we have a lot of small clubs.
Yeah.
So we have 3 clubs in Norway that's like using bigger airplanes like caravans or a Twin Otter, or yeah, now Oslo is using a Porter. Um, uh, and all the other clubs they use 206s, 182s, yeah, smaller aircrafts. Yeah.
What are the three big drop zones in Norway? It's you guys, Tonsberg, and
Oslo,
Oslo. Okay, cool.
Skydive Oslo. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then there's a lot of Aerodyne icons in Norway as well, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot. Like especially in Tønsberg, like up here we have Jarle, and like it's weird to see, like in Voss everybody has vectors, but if you go to Tønsberg everybody has icons, and it's just because there's a local icon dealer in Tønsberg, and Jarle is doing the vectors. Jarle used to do icons as well, but he stopped. But I don't know why he stopped. But yeah, so it's mainly vectors we use in Voss, and then there's a lot of icons as well. Yeah, Evan, you use icon, don't you?
Yes, I do, but
Yes.
I'm grounded for the time being. And
You'd say you're
actually, after
grounded or ungrounded?
grounded, and after they did the necessary modification, he pulled the reserve, and the reserve did not come out.
Oh.
Now it's been for a second modification, and now it's supposed to lead for next day.
What were you
Working,
jumping in
hopefully.
Klassevik?
My sister's rig, a Javelin.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Gotta
Was
love
that-
some path. Wear
is
the
that
wrong
a
hats though.
Is that a next gen, Evan?
No,
Icon. Oh,
it's plain
I
red.
didn't get the answer. You froze then, Evan.
No, I don't really know.
Okay. How old is it?
I got it in 2019, I think.
Okay, might be then. Might be.
It probably is a next gen, I think.
Yeah.
It was the first X 92.
And what's
coming up,
the situation in? So you said it was grounded. I can't remember the name of the Norwegian governing body, but presumably they have issued, the ruling that they're grounded, like most of the governing bodies are. But is there any nuance? Like in the UK, we ungrounded the I4s and above, but the I1s, the I3s are still grounded. I just wondered if it's the same in Norway. We have a lot of working group that are looking at these issues, trying to resolve them in conjunction with the manufacturer. So I think was pretty much taking the lead on this, and I think a lot of the countries are either following that or just taking what the manufacturers recommend and going with that. So how's that work in Norway? Is it are they just doing what the manufacturers say or something else? That's
next-
whoever wants to answer that. Sorry, that's not even necessarily Fred. If you can answer that, it's up to you.
Yeah. No, I don't know the exact like what, but I know it was nuanced. Like we had some icons was grounded and some were not. So I knew that it was a difference
Yeah.
there.
Probably the same as us then, with the smaller ones still staying grounded. So
Yeah.
so Aerodyne put out another technical bulletin about a week
Well, this is
ago.
a new technical bulletin, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said. A new one.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's so technical bulletin's not necessarily mandatory, I think, and they've said
Correct.
that you can cut out the stiffener in the lower part of the reserve pin flap. It's my understanding that in the next gens, they have a lot of embroidery on the flap and the stiffener, and and can be quite long as well. And those combined is perhaps what's causing this lock. So they have suggested removing the stiffener from where it tucks in and below there. So you still have the friction of the flap and the material, but not the stiffener as well. And I know, well, I say I know, I've read that British Skydiving put out a statement saying they're aware that this technical bulletin has been issued by the manufacturer, but they haven't decided yet where we stand as a national governing body in terms of that suggestion to make that modification. So as it stands, the smaller icons are still grounded in the UK, so we're still waiting for a way forward on that, really.
I'm sure that once it's been discussed sufficiently, that will become mandatory in the UK, even though it's a technical notice. and not a service bulletin or a safety bulletin.
Yes, so that's what we as the British Skydiving as a governing body will will act in that way. They won't leave it as you know, it's up to you. As a national governing body, will dictate what needs to happen for everyone and for all of them.
Evan, you said that your rig had 2 modifications. Was one moving the cutter, the AED cutters from one flap to another flap, and then the second one was removing the stiffener from the reserve protection flap?
I don't
Or
know
you're not sure?
I don't know about in modification, only that there's been one. But the first one is correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So it sounds likely it was. Okay, fair enough. What container did you jump, Fred?
I jump a Vector.
Vector, yeah. So you're a Vector, I'm a Javelin, and the 2 others both got grounded, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, I
Not
have
funny, but we're both laughing. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm back at the inn, Brian. I've got somebody lent me a container, so I have a Mirage G4 now.
have you
that
jumped it?
Yeah.
Did you die?
No,
You hooked it up? You hooked up yourself?
I hooked up the main, so I got my riggers to swap it all over, but they didn't have time to do the main. So it's like, oh, I'll do that. It's fine. I can do that. But
Did you just swap the risers over, or did you actually hook the main up to the risers?
I hooked the main to the risers because
Okay.
my rig is an Aerodyne. It's got the Mini Force 3 ring, and you can't use the Mini Force 3 ring on a non-Aerodyne rig. So I had to swap the risers. It's something I've done loads of times. It's not something, it wasn't the first time I've ever done it, but just borrowing the rig, and it was at a new first time I jumped it was at a new drop zone as well. So it was, it gave me the heebie-jeebies a little bit that something was going to happen. I'm not superstitious, but it just, how you get a funny feeling.
Yeah.
Combine those again, Swiss cheese links in the chain, and just a new rig, a different rig, and having hooked up the main myself, even though, like I say, it's something I've done before. I have that sort of mind that just worries about these things. But no, it was fine. So
I think you're justified in worrying. I've got a little story. I don't know if I've probably mentioned this before on the podcast, but just to remind our listeners and for Fred and Evan, after one recording many, many years ago, Tash and I changed over one of my canopies onto the risers. We just switched it over, and we both had bottle of wine, and both had thousands of skydives, and it was dead straightforward, super simple. I got to the drop zone the next day, whenever it was, and I was like, I should just jump. I'm just going to check this. It's sensible to check this. I'm sure I could jump this and it'll be absolutely fine. And I hung it up, and I found 4 errors. It was just like, how the fuck have I done that? How the fuck have I done that? How the fuck have I done that? But so anyway, yeah. So late night, midnight rigging after a bottle of
midnight
wine
rigging, never a good
was
idea.
not
And
smart. Checking it in the morning was very smart. So I think you were
and
wise.
rigging without
Double check
hanging
it.
it up as well.
Yeah, the room was medium sized.
So I think every canopy I've hooked up before has not been hung up. I've done it on the floor, and I said to my rigger that oh, shall I do that or shall I take it to the drop zone? He's like, no, you should definitely take it to the drop zone and hang it up properly. So I was like, okay. So I took it to the drop zone, and similarly, even though I'd hung it up, I when I checked it hung up, I noticed a couple of mistakes. I'd got a line set twisted or whatever, a line group twisted, and things like that. So I was tempted
Little things.
when I got to the drop zone. I was going to be jumping it out to unpack it and to do it one more time, but I didn't, because I knew that I triple checked it when it was hung up. So I'm glad I hung it up and checked it.
Cool. So we might have a bit more Aerodyne icon information for the next episode, but right now I think we're done. There were some cool jumps. Just we've got 3 more bits of news, Evan and Fredrick, before we go on to you guys. There was some cool stuff going on at Skydive Langer on Friday night. Did you guys did this make Norway news? Did the night jumps at Langer make Norway news? No.
No, I don't
So
think so.
we set a new UK and European record: 24-way belly jump, and then a 10-way CF, no, a 9-way CF canopy formation jump,
Right.
all in the night, all in the dark, which was Yeah, we're going to talk about it more next time. On episode 110, we're going to have Marcus. He was on the CF record and I was on the belly record, so we can discuss it in a bit more detail. But that was happening this weekend on Friday night, and it was.
What
I'd
were the
like to say it was
previous
fun.
records from?
In the UK, I'm not sure. It was. I think it was a single plane load. This was multi-plane, so it was
So that's the
incredible views.
notable thing, isn't it? Because it was a formation load, which is, it's
24
difficult
people plus camera.
difficult enough in the daytime, let alone at night. So
Yeah, it was. I'd like to say the sunset on the way up was one of the most beautiful sunsets I'd ever seen. Because as you get higher, we could see that it was a perfect rainbow from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. It was all the colours on this sunset. It was absolutely stunning. And then it just got really, really dark.
Yeah.
when was the last time you did a night jump, Brian?
I did a 5-way in October over the pyramids.
Okay.
So clearly I'm an
yes.
expert.
But that was massively illuminated, wasn't it? You've got Cairo and then darkness apart from the landing area, which was well illuminated.
Well, we actually got out and we you could just make out sunset over Cairo. We had the whole city lights, and then it was the week that the Grand Egyptian Museum was opening, so we had all the pyramids were massively lit up as well, which just looked absolutely stunning. So we got super lucky with all the photos and videos and things. And yeah, that was incredible. That was enough that I could process. That makes me go like, that was amazing, but I need to do it again to understand what actually happened. And I feel like the 24-way belly jump that we just did was just such an overload that I don't really remember it. I remember running to the door thinking, I don't have to get out. And then my brain saying, shut the fuck up, get out. And then I was diving down to the formation, stopping and docking, thinking, shit, was I last on? And then 2 more people came in and flew in. I'm like, okay, I wasn't last. And then
Were you last out though, Brian?
no, I wasn't last out. But we were told to take it steady. I'm talking too much now. We were told to take it steady, and I wasn't quite sure how to do that. But we had loads of time to build a 24-way from
So
14
I
grams.
know we're going to talk about it again next week, but just to say that the drop zone were massively supported by sort of industrial light suppliers. So that again, the landing
Yes,
area was massively illuminated, wasn't it? I think
there were
I don't know
5 industrial floodlights worth about £2,000 to hire for a couple of days. Yeah, so we got
So
lucky with the sponsorship there.
pretty good. I think I can't remember if the last time I did a night jump was at Langer or maybe it was in Others. I can't remember, but I might be talking 10, 15, 20 years ago, and we were lucky if you had one car with some really weak headlights, yellow, lightly illuminating the patch of grass about 6 feet big. So, I'm not trying to belittle your attempt there, Brian, but you clearly had a lot out.
Evan, how many night jumps have you got?
I would say in total, not too many. 10, 15.
It's pretty decent. Fredrick?
0, never.
0.
Wow.
I never die.
Fredrick, how many jumps have you got?
I've got 1800 now, so yeah,
Okay, cool.
closer to
How many this year is that?
getting there. How many this year?
Yeah, they're working you hard.
I'm because starting to become an office guy. I have to step up. So
Yeah.
not too many, but we just started the season, so maybe I've done like 50, 60, 70, something like that.
That's
this
pretty
season.
decent. It's pretty
Yeah,
decent,
it's
mate.
okay.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Especially seeing as the season only started 24th of April, so like 5-6
Yep.
weeks ago.
Yep.
Is a night jump something that's not very common in Norway?
We
Not
don't
super.
have dark. Summer
Yeah,
when it-
that's the
It never
thing.
gets
Like,
dark. That's a good point.
yeah.
But we normally do night jumps in the UK in winter because it gets dark a lot earlier.
that is true.
So yeah, which makes it less fun because it's cold in the winter. So
Yeah.
summer night jumps
and
would be a lot
fogging and
more fun,
things.
but then they happen a lot later. So what time was sunset? What time did you exit, Brian, on the jump?
We official night was 10:03 p.m. and we took off at 10:05. So as we climbed, we caught up the sunset. But yeah, when we jumped out, it was super dark.
Well, I get one more question, and then we'll move on. How many jumps did you do that day?
2. One
Was that
practice
all?
and one real one.
Okay. So you weren't working. Was it the weekend? It wasn't the weekend, was it?
It was a Friday.
Oh, Friday. Okay. All right. So you weren't
No,
too
it was
tired.
school half term.
You weren't too
School
tired.
half term, so I was hanging out with Stella in the morning.
And it was all
Anyway,
very hush hush. I'd not heard anything about it. So
yeah, I don't really understand that, but the people in charge were a very businesslike, very matter of fact, and yeah, maybe
it's
from a
something that
generation
clearly had quite a lot of
don't
planning, given that you had a CF and an FS record
months,
going on. Yeah.
well over 6 months of planning, well over 6 months of planning, and credit, like they pulled together an extraordinary team to do it and to make it work. But yeah, it would have been.
Did somebody
I feel
drop
like,
out
yeah,
then?
yeah, that's how I got on.
Yeah. You're way ahead of me.
As soon as I heard about it, I spoke to the organisers and asked for a slot, and they were like, "Sorry, it's full." And a couple months later, a slot came open. Luckily for me.
Good for you, Brian. Well done.
So yeah. Anyway, there's a new Audible in town. Do you guys? Oh, so no, we have. Sorry. There's a new Audible coming out to market. The Aeon Squared Aria. Fredrick, Evan, you don't normally wear a helmet or goggles for jumping, or you don't often wear a helmet or goggles. When you do wear a helmet, do you wear an Audible?
No.
Sounds like a no. Okay, fine, cool. That's cool. I mean, so you've got the thing where you like to feel the skydive in all its in all its rawness. You don't often wear shoes. Sometimes you don't wear goggles. Sometimes you don't wear helmets. And I was just curious how that played out, because I feel like you would find that. I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I assume you would find that almost artificial if you've got something beeping at you, I guess.
Well, when I was on team, I used it because then my focus obviously is otherwise my attention. So it depends very much what kind of jump I'm doing. But most of the jumps, and particular all the in-hops, you don't really need it. Of course, a helmet can be good if you fall over or hit something in the, if you fail in the landing, and of course. But it's also a matter of how much protection do you want to have compared to standing down from the activity at all. So by going into it, you kind of accept the risk and you kind of love the risk. And the whole game is about getting out of it, um, good, without any injuries, without, with full accomplishment. And the harder the challenge, the bigger the feeling of victory and I would say self-satisfaction and growth. So the whole thing and the whole thing with the skydiving is of course being so intensely connected to the physical boundaries and the environment and the feeling, not only on the outside with the elements of the air, but also on the inside with your fare and your different experiences as will shift according to your experience level and currency and also the jump you're doing. But that pure love of skydiving, that pure basic thing that really is just about jumping out of an aircraft, knowing with all of your mind that unless somebody do something now, you will die for sure. So it's up to you or something to avoid that from happening. And that basic kind of core thing is where it all grow out from. And then we start to play, and then we start to develop the sport into incredible maneuvers and I would say how human boundaries are just being drawn and developed, much with the help, like in modern days, with wind tunnel and stuff like this. But all of this is just like spices, spices on the food. The core thing is about the pure thing of skydiving. Don't you agree?
I think that's maybe the most beautiful thing I've heard about skydiving ever.
Yeah.
Fred, have you ever jumped without a helmet?
No, I haven't. So we're not allowed to. In Norwegian rules, we have to have a helmet. So if, for example, if I jump in another country where it's allowed, I still have to follow Norwegian rules. So
Ah,
so I don't
really?
want to. Yeah.
Ah, didn't know that.
So yeah. So I still have
Is-
to.
Is that for insurance purposes,
To be honest,
Or-
I'm not really
or
sure,
they'll just-
but
they just ban you if you come back and they've got a picture of you jumping without a helmet overseas?
yeah, I wouldn't like them to see if I've done something like that. So yeah.
People say British skydiving is strict. Can you imagine if we did that, Brian?
Yeah, that's really strict. Craig, have you jumped without a helmet?
Twice. Once intentionally, in Imperia. And
And the other?
the second time I started off wearing a helmet, and then I had a free fall collision and my helmet came off. So the rest of the so it was what was it? It was a bonehead mind warp.
Open face.
Yeah, and I had my Sony PC1 DV camera on it, and on the box. And back then, for a cutaway, what they used to do was like pop, the pop studs, the press studs. So it had like 4 of them, and then a loop on the handle so that you could pull it, and the pop studs would come undone. That was the cutaway, and that was legal. But it was also, it seems susceptible to impact. See, I had a mild collision. It didn't knock me out or anything. It wasn't too bad, but it was strong enough to loosen these pop studs, press studs on the helmet. They came off, and then the wind just got underneath it, and the helmet went off. This was at Hibblestone many years ago, and have I not told this story before? And a few months later, a farmer brought the helmet back to Hibblestone, and it got returned back to me. And even though it was a DV camera and it had been in the field for a couple of months, I think it was summertime, I was able to get the footage off the camera. And the last image you can see of the camera before it goes spinning up is me like this, looking up at the camera, spinning away. So yeah, admittedly, it wasn't very long for a skydive. It was only, I think I pretty much opened my canopy after that. But briefly, yeah, had a jump without a helmet. You, Brian?
I did a balloon jump in Paris without a hat on.
So
And do you know what I
the
learned?
jump where you're most likely to end up landing off a drop zone, you chose not to wear a helmet.
Yeah. But do you know what I learned? The thing that I learned, your head gets really, really hot on a balloon jump.
Yeah,
I had
you'd
no
get so
idea.
close to the burner. Yeah.
And I've always won a beanie at least before putting my helmet on nowadays. Anyway, moving on. So we got to that because
there's one important thing too, because this helmet thing, it may actually kill you. And if I had not been without my helmet, I would have broken my neck.
yeah.
So we had this was an AFF jump in Namibia on one of the Enoch trips, and we were having a bad spot, but still no problem really for the student. But the student needed assistance, so we got pretty low before I pulled him out, and then we had the video guy pulling, so I waited even further, and then I pulled, and there was just no way I could get out of the area. And below me was this horrible, like piles of rocks that you find in Namibia, and I didn't have shoes. And at this point, I did regret that fact. And we were at high altitude, like 5,500 feet, and super hot.
Above
So
sea level.
yes, so you can imagine the penetration of the canopy as well. And it was midday and out on a farm in the almost like the desert, so it's like in a bit hopeless. And pretty soon I realized there was no way I could get out of the rocky area, and I just had to do the best I could. So I'm flying in. I'm letting all the brakes go and fly straight in approach, and then I brake as much as I can, and really, I think my canopy was what's it, 79 or 89. So I start to run, and I'm lucky with the first step. I hit between some rocks, and my second step between some rocks, but my third step I can't run anymore. and then I go back to my, muscle memory PLF. So I curl myself and I roll in front, and then I put my head like this, boom, in between two rocks, and I fall over. And I fall over and land on the back on the other side, and then the rig, of course, takes off the pressure from the rocks I'm hitting, so I'm uninjured. The only thing I cut my ear off because the rocks were so narrow, so I could only pass with one ear while the other one was torn off because of the tightness. So imagine if I had had a helmet, my
You're right.
head
Yeah.
been stuck right there while my body would penetrate through, so I would have broken my neck. So not wearing a helmet saved my life. So that's
Your
the
mileage may vary.
morality of
Yeah.
the
I like your story, Evan.
Moral.
I like your
Yeah,
stories a
moral
lot,
of
but
the
I'm still
story
going
is
to wear a
don't wear a
helmet.
helmet.
Absolutely. On any jump ever. Don't wear one.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
And shoes.
And shoes. No.
Actually, it is a legal requirement in the UK. The operations manual says suitable footwear. That is specified in our operation manual. You must be
well,
wearing footwear.
isn't by a skin you're born with suitable footwear?
Especially your skin, Evan. That's a yeah. You're hardened now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Brian, we never got the point of the story. Audible
Yes.
altimeters.
The Aeon
talking
Squared, there's brought out a new ARIA. They're looking for people to test it. So I signed up for as a testing role today. It's a talking
Oh.
altimeter.
I've signed up for that as well, Brian, and I was leveraging the fact that we do a podcast. You know, we could do some
Oh, I
good
didn't even
advertising.
mention it. He just knows who I am. But I don't know. I'm hopefully we'll hear back, and I wouldn't mind giving it a test. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, those are
Competing with you, Brian.
if any of your listeners that do a lot of jumps, then reach out to Aeon Squared and maybe they might ask you to do some testing for it. It's not quite perfect. You'll need to have a second audible while you're testing it. Don't rely on it. But yeah, they're looking for people, and you might get to keep the test unit if your feedback is good.
So, interesting. Can I just say before, just one thing, Brian? Aeon Squared, they've moved off Facebook because not everyone uses Facebook. Yeah, but you must know this. No, so they only have because you've subscribed or you've applied to test their product, so it means you're on their bulletin board. So they've replaced it with a website.
I think one of the
chat
questions
from-
was, "What's your username?" And I said, "Oh, still need to do that."
That's another strike against you, Brian. You definitely
Yeah, maybe I won't.
got more chance of
Anyway,
getting picked than you.
anyway.
So yeah, people, if you're I think you probably sent I got an email from their mailing list saying they were looking for people, which but I was already signed up to their website. But yeah, if you've got any interested in their products, it's you need to sign up for that and not on social media now. So, but I think it's a thing a lot of people are doing. They're moving away from social media. It's difficult to get your stuff promoted on social media unless you're paying to advertise or you're feeding the algorithm or whatever. So people are trying to
Plus,
take
there's a
back
lot of
control.
trolls.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they're off and they have their own discussion forum. So
Cool. And then the last thing is something nothing very important at all, but somebody won a prize somewhere.
a prize, an
I don't
award.
know. What did you have to do?
Yeah. Just give 20 years of my life to British skydiving. Nothing much.
Well done. And you got a sword.
Yeah, we talked about it. Did we talk about it the other week?
Yeah, we
Royal
did.
Aero Club Awards.
But you put it back on the outline, so we're talking about it again.
That wasn't me. I wouldn't not talk about me. Don't like to talk about it. Yeah. So yeah, I went to the awards ceremony. I'm not going to talk about it. You've made me feel all self-conscious.
Congratulations. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Well, so moving on
Yes.
to talking about Voss, we'll come back to it, Craig, don't worry. Moving on to talk about Voss
I'm going to
and
mention
Beko.
it every episode.
Was it a silver medal from the Royal Aero Club?
Bronze. Only a bronze.
Oh, well, try harder next time.
Yeah. Another 20 years.
Skydive Voss, how old is Skydive Voss? Oh, fucking hell.
They gave Martin Salisbury a silver. Not comparing or anything, but there you go.
He was 10 years as chair, though, wasn't he?
9.
And what were you?
4.
3 2/2. Anyway, so how old is Skydive Voss? What year was
It's
Skydive
from
Voss created?
1978. So
1978.
yeah.
Ah, okay. Skydive
What
So
year were
Langer is
you born, Brian?
1977. I
oh,
was born in
cool,
77, the same year as Skydive Langer started, and 1 year older than Voss.
cool. Yeah, so it's been around for some
Yeah,
time.
and
Evan,
Evan, you were there at
were
the start.
were you? Nah,
So I started in '88.
88.
Okay.
10 years.
Okay.
But you grew up in Voss, Evan. So did you like as a kid know what it was or
No, I didn't.
no?
I hadn't really heard about it. Um, I was just, for me, it was just, I don't know, restless and accidentally passed by information meeting about skydiving, and me and my friend went there. And then I saw the movie From Wings Came Flight, and then whoa. And then later on, I saw some skydiving in, somebody jumping at the ski resort in the Easter time. I think that was the first time I saw a skydive or a parachute landing live.
So how old were you, Evan, when you made your first jump?
So I was in 20
20. Cool.
or 19, turned 20.
Gotcha. And Fred, you've got you're behind the desk now, one of the management roles at Skydive Voss, head of operations manager. Sorry.
Yeah,
How are you finding
exactly.
it?
No, it's great. It's awesome to work with something you care a lot about. So I feel like obviously there's a lot going on. Like we have a very busy season in a short period of time. But it gives a lot back as well to see that your effort brings joy to people. Like I would say, like I sometimes when it gets hard, I just remind myself that I have a really awesome job because I get to help people do this awesome stuff and facilitate for people having fun, and then it just creates joy and peace, and then yeah, I can handle it, and then I can rest in the winter time.
Yes. So you guys are
So yeah,
open, so middle of, sort of towards the end of April to the middle of September. Is that right?
yeah, correct, yeah,
So that's about 5 months.
yep,
And you do what, 25,000 jumps a year?
yeah, something like that, closer to 30,000 ish, yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah.
It just blows my mind how efficient Voss is at getting it done. What operating hours do you just do like 8 or 9 hours a day, or do you push it all hours?
We go from 9 till 9 in the weekdays, and then we do 9 till 8 in the weekends. So Saturday and Sunday.
And then one Sunday a
Um,
month is half a day, or one Sunday a month is closed.
yeah, one Sunday is a month is closed, so we can keep the neighbors happy a little bit. But most of the neighbors love us, but we have some of these farmers up there. They're not like super stoked about plane going all the time. But yeah, people always
Yeah.
like to complain about something.
So Voss is now 49 years old. How long do you think Voss will be going on for?
I think it would like our goal is to go for another 50 years, at least. So I don't know how much people know, but we've been struggling a bit with the landowners for quite some time, and we are not giving in because we know how valuable this place is. So we don't want to give a little bit and then they just bit by bit take it away. We want to fight for what's ours and fight for the whole thing. So not we are not moving anywhere. So and now it's going in the right direction. So that's very good with the
Is it?
commune and yeah,
I keep hearing
it's
news that it's going in the right direction every year. Then 6 months later, something's going bad, and
yeah, right, yeah. That's to be honest, like it's so what's the right word? It's a bit frustrating because it's going in the right direction, but you know how bureaucracy can be. It can take time, yeah. But now they have voted to take the land. So now it's just a process, but it's taking some time. And if
so
it
hang
takes
on,
too long of a
they have
time, maybe they
voted
can.
to just explain that again. They have voted to take the land.
Yeah. So I don't know if you have that in the UK, but it's like expropriation. Do you have that?
Statutory
It's like,
purchase.
yeah, so it's like if you don't want to do what the land is regulated to do, then the government can come in and kind of buy the land from you. Yeah.
Only
And
compulsory
sport,
purchase is what it's called in the UK, I think.
yeah, probably, yeah. So sport is quite high. So the whole land now is regulated for sports. So they can't do anything else but do sports. Uh, but I don't know if you heard it. They started a sports club, or they started a sporting center AS or something, just on paper, right? And they're saying, yeah, we can do skydiving.
Then they were trying to restrict the amount of fuel that you guys could get and the amount of parking spaces you guys could have,
Yeah,
and then they said, okay, so now the council has laid down the rules that it has to be sport, and then they started their own sports club, which would
yeah. Or
inevitably have
they
issues.
didn't start a sport club, but they started a sporting center, like AS, like yeah, like business wise. And in Norway, like what's very cool about Norway is that we do skydiving. I don't know how it is in the UK, but it's very strict. Like we have to do skydiving as a sport, and that's very cool. I think it's like everything we do goes back into the community. There's no owners taking any profit out of the skydiving we do. So as a club, like everything we generate of value, we put back into skydiving and back into the sport and the club. And yeah, so that's what we fight for, just sports. So it's just like uh yeah, capital interest for some few people gaining, or the whole community. That's like what we're fighting against.
I feel like Skydive Voss, skydiving as a sport is the heartbeat of Extreme Sports Week. And I feel like
Yeah.
Extreme Sports Week is known around the world and brings so many tourists and makes Voss famous around the world. And if you don't have skydiving in Voss, then you don't have Extreme Week. Maybe it'll last for a bit, but it'll fall within a few years.
Yeah.
And then Voss goes back to being just this town in the middle of nowhere that no one really knows about.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the sad thing about it, and I think people know and people realize this, but I can understand both sides. It's not easy, for a commune or anybody to handle this. But we are very positive. We are not gonna go anywhere, and we are gonna go for 50 more years, and yeah, we are like, for me, I've just become in this mindset that there's nothing I can do really. I just have to go every day, and then, but like luckily now it looks like it's positive. But you never know. It's twists and turns, and yeah. But if people are listening to this, this is really the year to come to us and like show, because the more activity we have, and the more then people see how valuable this place is. So we really want to go big this year when it comes to Veco, the innhopps, all the events we have. I've done a lot of work in the winter trying to get as much students on our AFF courses and tandem students, just to show how valuable this place is. Uh, and really just, it fuels me when you get these people that tries to ruin something special. Then it fuels me just to go even harder and show them really, okay, I can really show you how special this place is if you doubt it.
That's cool. It's great that Voss is busy again this year. So Evan, you were saying that the first Extreme Sports Week was 1998.
Yes.
Do you remember the first one?
Yes, very much so. I was a captain in the army at the time, and we had our yearly exercise at the same time as the Extreme Week. And then we had the World Championship in football where Norway won. So there was a lot of things going on. And I remember my personal vision with the first Extreme Week was all based around the innhopp. And there was a very special natural amphi. Um, and I just somehow pictured a outdoor concert there and some skydive landing. And later moved to the sheep place at Ivalønna. So that became the location for this outdoors concert in the beginning. I think it was big band or something from Bergen that was a highlight. But anyway, the that was from the skydiving side, and then it was very random. because we were just moving back to Voss, and we were building the new clubhouse, and we were now after running the national drop zone at Östra, we were now kind of gathering up to do something more in Voss, to hire a plane for a longer period of time. And this was when I heard about this. They were doing a cup or something with the rafting, and me and Frode Solbakk in the rafting, we were then discussing to do this together, and then we talked to Øyvind in the paraglider club, and they were going to have the Norwegian Cup 2 weeks later, and instead they moved it to the same week. And then the river kayakers were kind of the fourth element that we then dragged in, and these were the 4 established club environments that were existing at the time.
Who was that? Skydiving, kayaking.
Skydive, yeah, and rafting and paragliding.
Paraglide.
And then we had some base jumpers or a base community, and we also had a skate community. So these 2 communities were kind of added on as extra activities for the first extreme week. But when we made the organization and the way we put it into the company, where we secured that all the money would go back to the clubs and the members, then we were only 4 clubs existing at the time with a legal number, to put it that way. And yeah, that is also, in hindsight, the most thing I would be proud of, I would say. That is that we managed to do that. We, like the second year, we were called Pepsi Max Beko, because already we were catching interest from sponsors, and I'm super happy that we all said no, and instead we said turned down that sponsorship we were offered, and instead wanted to be ourselves. And then from on the third year on, we were back to Extremsport Seco. We also had local resistance on the name because it was so long, and then later on, just that length and the abbreviation, and especially the O ending, made it just super local, bonded to Voss, of all places, because Voss has that in the dialect.
So Extreme Sports Week, you guys call it Extreme Sports Veko, right? Is that
Yes.
Norwegian or is that a dialect of Norwegian?
So the particular O at the end of the word, Veko, that's a Vossa spelling of a female word. So a week is a female word, and then in the what's it called, the bundet ending.
Yeah, for example, me, I'm from the east coast of Norway, and I would say that word completely different. So it's very local.
How would you say it?
Veko, uka, I would say. It's almost a different word, you know. Uka.
What?
Veko, he would say, and I would say uka.
Do you
Or
spell it the
uki.
same?
No, not at all.
Right, okay.
So yeah, so it's almost a
Uken.
different word. So it's very locally.
Yeah.
Or uken. Yeah.
And now it's just so famous, this sports week, that it's you can say Veko and everyone pretty much knows what it is, especially in Norway and for many skydivers around the world as well. All you need to do is call it the week, and people know exactly which week they're referring to, or you're referring to. It's pretty impressive. How many sports are there now?
Oof, there's a lot of sports. I think there's over 20 sports. Like if you go on the Extreme Sport website, you can check out all the sports, and it's just growing and growing. And it's like from elderly people to younger people, and like it's base jumping, BMX, cliff jumping, climbing, yeah, depth diving, kayaking, mountain biking. Yeah, I think it's almost 30 sports. I don't know. It's crazy.
Craig
Oh.
wants to know what depth diving is.
No, I know exactly.
you
what
wanna
it
know
is. I've seen the videos.
Yeah, and that's also pretty cool because that's also Norwegian like it started in Norway, and then it just became something worldwide. I guess we Norwegian are just we just are too restless, like Evan say. We just figure out stupid ways to get that adrenaline rush.
So how yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. It's an incredible week. I found there's just the camaraderie, the community for all of the sports was just incredible. And I'm really excited again for my 5th Neko this year, I think. Fredrick, how many have you been to?
I've been to 7,
7.
so
Craig, what
this is
about
gonna
you?
be my 7th. Uh,
0.
Oh, poor Craig.
There
Poor
was
Craig.
a when I was base jumping, I toyed with the idea of going, but never made it.
Did you jump in Norway?
Yeah, yeah. In base jumping, yeah, of course, jumped at Chirag, but nowhere else.
Nice.
cool.
At the heli boogie, so Norway's famous for its boogies. So yeah, you go. The
Yeah.
heli boogie happens every year where they bring a helicopter, and it's usually in June. It's about now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Usually just
yeah.
before the extreme week.
And yeah, so I've done that. But no skydiving. I've skydived in Sweden. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of crossover, right? You go between the two. But
no, we like the Swedish people because they have nothing on us, so we can just. It's the little brother. We like yeah.
oh, fight!
Oh,
We need to get some Swedish
yeah,
people on next time, Brian. So
yeah,
It
yeah,
sounds a bit like the Scottish relationship with the English.
yeah.
Isn't that right, Greg? That's what I heard you say. Um, so, Fredrick, coming up this year, have you got any highlights to look for that you're looking forward to for Veko?
yeah. Like this year, like I spoke briefly about previously, like just super like I think the whole staff here and the team at Veko are just super motivated to make Veko good. It's awesome every year, but we are just very motivated to have a good week as always. So we have that speed star competition that's really cool. That's been starting to build some momentum that you've been a part of, and it's very cool to see people yeah, having interest for it. So that's cool, and we
I think
also
there's
knew
2
the
teams from the UK coming this year, actually.
cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it's like because we felt like we were missing something. Like in Veko, we are the biggest sport by far when it comes to the sports, like participants wise or athletes. But we are not really that good at being on the stage, getting a prize, you know, because we just have fun, we jump, but we don't do sport like the competitions as much as the other sports do. And there was something missing there, and then the speed star competition like filled that gap, and it's very cool for people to just find a team and try something. And for all ranges of skydivers, new, experienced, yeah. So it's very cool. And also new this year we have Evan. I don't know. I think we lost Evan a little bit, but Evan, you're there again.
I'm
We also
learning.
have this year we have we're gonna incorporate the in-ops a little bit more. Evan's secret in-ops. So we want because that's very special for Voss, and it's also special for Extremes per Week because that's like Evan said is how it all started. So we want to take our athletes on a journey and show them like the heart of it and how it started. So I don't know, Evan can talk a little bit about it, but that I think is very special for this year is that we want to incorporate these secret in-ops. Where Evan brings up this drawing, he's just drawing and you don't know where you're landing. He's just putting his pen and paper, and you're not the best drawer, Evan, but it works. You know, it's like it's not like Google Maps, so it creates something. It creates, or you are actually quite good at drawing. To be honest, like you with this, you know, it's special. I wouldn't be able to do it, but it's something very special. I think that's cool this year, and I'm excited to see how it's going to be. But and we also do all this stuff that we always do: the heli jumping and the slip and slides and the swooping
Mountain flying?
competitions, mountain flying every day. Yeah, so we have everything basically. But this year, especially new is the enough.
How many in-hops are there going to be with Evan?
It's going to
Is it one a
be
day?
it's going to be Thursday and Friday. That's gonna be the secret in-ops, and then we have a like a more exclusive one. Evan can talk about that one. It's gonna be a day with in-ops that you can sign up for.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty special day because we're gonna do 4 in-hops, and one of them is gonna be the very first in-hop we ever did. So that's from back in 1991. I'm gonna talk a little bit on how the club was then, and then we're gonna connect some special Frank Zappa records to these innhopps because they symbolize each 10-year perspective of where this project is going. And the innhopps is a bit special if you think about what I said with the pure love of skydiving. During all these years, we found that innhopps has this ability to bring you back to that feeling of the first jump. And part of how we can achieve by other means instead of using photos, because the drawings will somehow appeal to the fantasy and imagination at the same time it's not real. And then you play with your own fears and your own expectations and your own demons regarding your self-confidence and what you're able to do and so on. But at the same time, you have a mental backout because you know that there will be a bigger, safer backup area in case the designated area is too tough or something like this. So that puts you already in a state where you open your mind and is a bit when the adrenaline releases, first when you get the call, then when you take off, and then when you exit. You will be at your peak at the exit point, and normally when you then free-falling under canopy at a lower altitude, then suddenly the appearance of this imagined very small landing area may very often seem, oh yeah, I can do this. And that brings that feeling of self-confidence and so on. So all these 4 innhopps we're doing this day contains these elements. The second innhopp will therefore be the one we never did, the real reason that I just talked about with the start of the extreme week. We have still never jumped at that location, and on that one we're gonna see on how the extreme after the first 10 years. Then we'll go to the location where we all gathered all the air sports first in one big demo jump, also having 2 pirates jumping into the demo, getting injured. So that was a bit legendary. But for a fact, the first jump we really all were connected in the air sports. And the 10 years after that, we really started to mingle among the extreme sports. While all the first years where we were separated into the different activities, apparently to our personalities. So we are different personalities seeking skydiving than there is seeking river kayak. But later on, we have experienced a lot bigger mingling among these different activities, providing then values from both to use in each of the separate sports. So in this way also, we will end this 4-day or 4 innhop journey at where we are today, at the innhop site in the middle of the fjord, the third longest fjord in the world, surrounded by activities that can kill you, but at all different anxiety and excitement levels. And in this sense, Skydive Voss somehow is, the biggest cradle of new skydivers in the world, based on this club basis, when you look at the number of students and stretch it out for a year. And that's interesting. And also, every voluntarily based, also the extreme week and later on the destination was made to promote the village and all of this. And we're surrounded then by this incredible nature. So after the innhop project have been really all around the world, we come back to this part of the world with the glaciers on top of the mountain and the snow and the fresh green colors and the glacier green fjords and lakes. It's just stunning. And everything is somehow connected with the energy driven by the waterfalls, connecting the air and the water elements, which basically are the same. So all of this come to Voss.
Sounds amazing. How much space do you have on these in-hops? Is it 2 lifts? What is it, 1 lift, 2 lifts, 3 lifts?
We have 3 lifts on the Thursday and Friday, and then the day that Evan is talking about, we're capped to 16 spots. So it's only 16
16,
spots.
1-6.
Yeah, 1-6. So
And
it's
one of those is
very.
Evan anyway.
No, Evan is not one of them.
17. Okay, right. Yeah.
So 18, I think it's gonna be one organizer, Evan, and then a camera person, most likely, and then there's
I can
16
do camera.
athletes. Yeah, right. I would like to do camera, Evan. Sign me up. So, nah, it's very. I'm very excited to. So that's kind of the special, and we want to have a storyline on it, and then we can show it in the tent. Because what's for people that haven't been in Beko before, what's very special about the Experience World Week as well is like we gather in the tent after a day of awesome activities, and we look at the daily video. And the crew at Experience World Week, they have a super good people working in their video department that makes these awesome edits from what's happened that day, so we can kind of go in the tent and we can look at all the sports and people cheer, and it's just it connects all the sport together. And like it's the same feelings that we have in skydiving that they have in kayaking. It's the same stoke and the same adrenaline and the same community, and so it's very cool to see what's been happening that day. And it's amazing how much awesome stuff you can do in one place in one day. So yeah, we wanna create a storyline of Beko when it comes to these innhopps. So it's very very exclusive. So it's first come first served. So yeah, I don't know if it's sold out or not. I haven't checked anything, but yeah,
Oh, is it online? The
it's online.
registration is online.
Yeah,
Okay, amazing. Wow. Um,
and we also
sounds
have a
incredible.
lot. Like it's very crazy to reflect back on when I look at the program, and but everything goes so smooth because it's so good planning, and like we do so much during the week. We do the heli jumping, we have organized jumping, like you're one of the organizers, Brian, and we have all day jumping all day. We have 4 planes, and we do in-ops, mountain flying, heli jumping, swooping competition, slip and slides, hula hoop, speed star competition. It's just everything that we can think of in 1 week. So it's kind of special.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a very cool week.
And then we also have demos in like into the tent every day.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to repeating that again because my last one wasn't the smoothest, shall we say? And I was
No.
lined up to do one last year. No, because it was a crosswind, which was gusting limits, but it was a crosswind,
Yeah.
and I had an audible at the time, which wasn't programmable for an offset, and it was telling me different altitudes. And in my head, I've talked about this on the podcast before. In my head, I thought I could do the mental arithmetic to make sure I turned at the right height. But given that the weather was pretty bad, there was a lot of things going on, and I was just overloaded, and I turned in too high, and suddenly I'm going crosswind, but actually going downwind towards the city, towards the town and the trees. And I
Yeah,
turned
that's
in,
not a
and
good.
I didn't hurt anyone else. I didn't hurt myself, but I did fall over right in front of the press photographer. So I had friends from around friends from around the world go like, "Brian, is this you?" Or "Brian, this is you." Ha ha. I was like, "No, that's not me. That's not me. No one else wears an orange mohawk and a white helmet." Um, but yeah, it was something I'd like to change. I was supposed to do a jump from 2-2 last year on student gear,
Yeah,
and again that got winded out. So I'm back, and I would like to do that. I realise we guys are talking a little bit long. Um, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Um,
no, pretty fine. Just
fair enough.
yeah, people should, if you haven't come to Voss yet, you should come. Craig should definitely come to Echo, and then yeah, it's, and in general, like the drop zone here. I don't know, like I started skydiving in Voss, so I didn't really know that this place. I knew that it was special because I heard people say it was special, but I didn't really know how it was before I went other places.
Yeah,
And then
it's a cool place to be.
yeah, so yeah, come visit, come jump, have fun. Yeah,
We have a front cover photo. Fredrick, you came up with a few options for us to check out, and the one we've chosen. Craig, you haven't done any talking in a while. Do you want to describe this photo?
It's a flag jump over a snowy backdrop, a gorgeous Norwegian flag, very vibrant colors.
Glacier.
It's like glacier, yes. So it's when we were discussing the picture, I said, "Oh, I love the picture, but it looks very cold." So, I think what time of year it wasn't. The picture wasn't taken in winter, was it? But because it's a glacier, it's snowy all year round, so it makes it look cold, even though it not isn't necessarily on the ground. But yeah, but high up on the glacier, it's a stunning photo. So the white of the backdrop on the glacier against the red of the flag looks incredible, even it does look a bit cold, but
Yeah.
it's not as
Was
bad.
that taken 2 weeks ago? Was that a this year photo?
It's not this year photo.
National Day,
But
so it was
yeah,
mid-May
but we
last
did.
year.
Yeah, so it's like 17th of May is our national day, our liberation day from Sweden or Denmark. I can't remember. One of these. We freed ourselves. So we celebrated at Skydive Voss. We celebrated with jumping up to Finse. That's up at Hardanger glacier. And it's very special because there's 2 huts up there, and there's a hotel, and people usually go skiing up there. So they ski with their national flag, and there's a lot of people up there, and we come with our big flag and demo smoke, and people are jumping in bunads. We have a breakfast at the club before we jump in, so it's quite a special one that people are looking forward to every year.
Who's under canopy and who took the photo, please? Do you know?
I think it's Morgan Mackay that took the photo. Yeah, Morgan Mackay, and then Chris Todd, I think, is on the canopy.
Okay,
I'm not
cool.
but Chris Todd flew it this year, so yeah.
You
Great.
so I've got 2 things just to ask you. You took over from Tom Shorten.
Yep.
Tom was a friend of the show. He was actually on episode 3, talking about his
Cool.
robot freefall camera. Who
Yeah,
is
cool.
Ali? Oh, cool. How's it been taking over from Tom?
No, it's been great. Like Tom's like we had a little transition period with where we had 3 months working together, and it was a pleasure working with him. And I also like know Tom from he's been around since I came here, I think. Maybe I started a little bit before he came. But yeah, so it's been good. He's very organized guy. So he has created a lot of systems that's good to follow up on, and yeah.
And he did a 3-month handover until the last day of Echo.
Yeah, correct. Then he checked out. Then it was no more. Yeah. No, it's cool. I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to drag him back in there a little to help out with AFF and Tandems, but I haven't like he barely went on a visit, but I think he's starting to enjoy himself in Bergen. Yeah, he become a city
Cool.
boy.
Ah, interesting. Fair enough. And
Yeah.
then the last one is I'm wearing my Cyprus hat because the geography around Voss is pretty mountainous, and you have some hills nearby. And I wanted to ask you about the aircraft emergency drills, but before that, you've actually got there's a hill next to your drop zone called Cypress Hill. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And
That
why?
hill, because if you're over that hill, your Cypress won't fire.
And
As
how
simple
far
as
is
that.
it from the drop zone?
I would say it's as close as can be, really. It's like yeah, as close as can be.
Yeah. So if
Maybe
you are angle flying or wingsuiting, you need to be very aware of the terrain.
yeah. That's also why we have very good people at Voss teaching people how to fly, but that's why we are a bit strict with who can be tracking leaders and stuff like that, because we have this terrain, so you have to be aware how you fly, so you don't end up over the hill. Yeah.
And what's the standard operating procedures for an aircraft emergency?
So the standard procedure is that depending on like when we climb with our pilots, we always make sure that we climb because we have a lot of fjords and mountains. So they always make sure that they are close to a place where they can drop us off. So they're always flying next to a valley or something like that, and it really depends on. So for example, if we have something an emergency or something, the jump master is communicating with the pilot, and then the pilot is saying if we need to get out, and then the jump master decides if we're gonna bail on our main canopy or our reserve. And it's a bit trickier, because you can't rely on gravity because there's so much terrain, so you have to kind of use your eyes and like make a decision. So we practice sometimes here with just practicing with our jump masters. We do a fake emergency procedure, like, yeah, so people can train a little.
Okay, so it's at the discretion of the jump master. It's not a standard flat. If you're below 6,000, get out on your reserve.
Yeah, it depends, like, because it's the jump master. We have a set for it, but I would say, like, because of the valve, you have to make sure that we are not over, because it doesn't help, if we are 6,000 feet above sea level, but it's 2,000 feet down to the, or yeah.
Or less.
But we
Yeah.
have a limit there. I just can't remember it now. Yeah.
Fair enough. And then it would be remiss of me to be on the show with you, Evan, and not reference. So my very first in-hop was with you back in 2018. And that was when you recorded a segment for the show back on episode 52, I think it was. And thank you very much for that. But it opened my eyes to what a skydive could be, landing next to some power lines, between a lake, some trees, and some power lines. It blew my mind. And it was great. And I had the great honor of you coming on one of my in-hops last weekend in Skydive Pink Classivy. So thank you for that. It was very cool to watch you come in over the trees and land barefoot, and it was a nice moment. It was terrifying for me because I was worrying far too much about everybody. I find
It's a
running an
horrible
in-hop one of the
thing being off the grounds.
it's what?
It's a horrible thing being on the ground watching all the others.
Yeah, or being in the plane just before we all jump out. Just like, oh my God, these 70 people have trusted me to draw this picture just right. And what if something isn't quite right? But yeah, it was nice to have for it to have come full circle and for you and Ronnie to be there and to jump in. So hope you guys had fun. We've got a few more things that Craig and I want to chat about. But it's super late in Norway. Sorry for keeping you guys
Yeah.
late. You didn't tell me there was a cut-off time, so we just kept talking.
Yeah, but
asked
it
you
was great.
twice.
It's good to talk to. It's awesome. It's no problem at all.
So Fredrick, if people want to go to Skydive Voss, how do they get involved?
Just show up. As simple as that.
Okay,
They can check out.
skydivevoss.com is the best place, or email you and stuff.
Yeah, they can email info@skydivevos.no, and they can also go to our website, skydivevos.no, and then they can see we have an event calendar. It's very easy to see what kind of events we have. And yeah, if they have any questions, they can email
Can
info@skydivevos.no,
people
or
turn
they
up on
can
any
call.
day?
Yeah, any day. We're open any day except last Sunday of the month to
Perfect.
make the
Which just
neighbors
happens
happy.
to coincide with the final night after the party, Veko,
On
right?
Deco. Yeah, that's completely coincidental.
And
So, yeah.
Evan, you're running in-hop projects all around the world. If people want to contact you, how would they do that?
innhopps.com. Easiest.
Inhop.com, is that it?
Yeah.
Ah, too easy. Fair
Yeah.
enough. And what countries have you got lined up for the next few trips? So there's Norway.
Yeah, so now next week, actually, we're starting the Vikings of Norway. It's a pioneer adventure. And this one is, we try to level up a little bit with picking smaller, more challenging landing areas. So a bit more hardcore, we hope, for this one. And then
hope.
there's a very strange one coming up in the end of August called Trolls of Norway. And this is more directed towards your inner self and for inner go, fight your trolls, the mindfuck. And this one may also be particularly interesting because I believe the father of free flying and the father of in-hops will meet here somehow. And then, of
Say
course,
that
the
again. The
second
father of
you
in-hops.
the what?
the father of innhopps will meet.
The father of free flying, Mr.
Ah.
Olaf Sipser.
Ah. Okay.
So it seems like we will be doing something with Martin Christensen and Matthias Rønnestad and possibly Pedro Ferreira or Nicolas Rubio. We'll see when it comes so far.
Okay.
But that would be a special event also in the fjords of Norway before we can trip there in November. And this time we're going to go a bit more south and try to dig into these ancient sculptures and some old petroglyphs that we find in Colombia. Yeah.
Cool.
So that kind of the
Fantastic.
next
And that's all at
coming up.
innhopps.com. Oh, go on.
Yeah.
And that's all at innhopps.com. Fantastic. Fredrick, Evan, thank you so much for being part of Radio Skydive UK. We really appreciate you. And I will see you guys in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking
Thank
forward
you,
to it.
Brian and Greg. See you.
Thank you.
I'm always amazed how smart international foreigners are. International, and their English was just so good. So I appreciate those guys so much. And I thought some of their answers were super considered, and you can tell they've been around a while and done a lot of things. We've got some listener feedback to go through from we've had in over the past couple of weeks. Craig, is there anything you wanted to say about jumping in Norway?
Well, like I said, I've only base jumped there, but it was
I meant
very
more
cool.
about Voss and Vecco. Now that they've gone, we can talk about them.
Yeah, I want to go now. I mean, I always wanted to, but that's really piqued my interest and sounds an amazing experience. I'd forgotten about because there was quite a bit of community action last year, the year before, when the threat to the drop zone came up, and they got a lot of support worldwide with petitions and things like that. So, it will be a massive loss to the sport and the community, and kind of, perhaps selfishly need to go there sooner rather than later in case it does get lost. But yeah, the Scandinavians have always been. I went to AHUG, but I went to the last Herb Boogie, 2004. That was a great experience. That just had the lifestyle, the way of living, the outdoors. The the daylight into the evenings and things like that. Just a great bunch of people. The Nordic, the Scandinavian skydivers are quite a small community, but I think they're a bit like the Brits, and they are well known worldwide for their attitude and for their skydiving. I think they punch above their weight. That's probably a good analogy to use from people
Yeah,
from
for sure.
Scandinavia. Because considering the population size, they do, and their very short season. But I think that probably helps them because back in the day they used to go abroad because the season was so short. They would spend a lot of time, in Florida, in Eloy, in Arizona, and that's how they got so good. So like, do you remember? Might be a bit for the Norgies. They were a great four-way team. Lee Nansen back in the day. Ken, not Ken. Yeah, it is Ken, isn't it? Does Sky League. He's a long time.
Kurt.
Oh, Kurtz. Yeah, Kurt Gable. He's German. What am I thinking about? I'm getting confused now. Sorry, too late in the evening. But yeah, there's great history there, and they're great skydivers. So makes me want to go back. And must be a brilliant environment. I was still like the question. So why do they operate longer in the week than the weekend? Is that right? He said 8 o'clock in the weekend. Is that?
Yeah, because people are working Monday to Friday, or is it the weekend? They're a bit more respectful for the
Okay.
residents.
So they come out after work and then they got more time. And I guess
Yeah, they don't.
when you can skydive for 12 hours a day, there comes a point where you just go, oh, right, I do want to go have a beer now and talk to people and maybe go to bed. So it makes more sense. So it looks quite well.
Yeah, I was impressed that he's like, oh, I haven't done so many. I've only done 70. It's only been like 6 weeks since it's opened. I was like, great, perfect. But for a working skydiver, maybe that's not so many. But
Yeah, well, if you can't get out of the office now.
base to the drop zone every day. We had a few voicemails of the memos from listeners, so I just want to run through those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read them out now, and then I will copy it, delete this, and put them in over the top.
So
So
yeah, I might need to get Mac's permission to use his one because it was a personal one to me, not necessarily one for the show. It doesn't say anything too bad, I don't think, but I might just have to double check with it. Just be prepared. I'll get that confirmation in case you need
Okay.
to need to.
So our first listener voicemail from Jess Saunders. Lucy Mansey's episode of Radio Skydive UK was definitely one of my favourites so far. I was cackling my way around the M25 out on the way to work, particularly during the story about Ryan throwing up on one of his tandem students. It made the traffic jams highly entertaining, so thanks for that. Jess Saunders, thank you very much for sending us a voicemail. We appreciate that. Appreciate your comments. That was hilarious. That was episode 108. So if you haven't heard that story, listeners, go and check it out. And maybe, who knows, maybe we'll get some more stories from tandem instructors who've thrown up on their tandem students. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying stuff like that. It's terrible. And then one voicemail from Craig's friend Max. Mate, I've just
Mac.
started listening to Radio Skydive. I have never listened to it before. Fair play. So obviously you're on it. Lucy Mancy was one of the guests. Who else runs it? I'm not even sure who's talking, but to be honest, mate, it sounded quite a lot of banter. Sounds pretty good, but I'm still not doing it.
Because
Uh,
I wanted to. I said, "Come on the show, come on the show." Because but he's a bit worried what he might say, and he'll get himself in trouble because he says it like it is. So yeah, he's not coming on, not until he's retired.
Is this Max I know?
No, Mac,
Oh, Mac.
not Max. Yeah,
Okay, fine.
I might just leave it at that. I mean, people who know him will recognize his voice, I guess, but no names, no pack drill.
No names, no what?
No pack drill.
Okay.
You never heard that before?
I haven't, and neither of our listeners. Neither of most of our listeners. Mac obviously has, but no, most of our listeners won't have.
Move on.
Cool. And then we had a voice note from Rob Shipley talking about gear checks, because we had been discussing Skydive Headquarters' introduction of compulsory gear check, flight line checking. So, no, not flight line checking, but a visual inspection of the AED. Hey, I was just listening to your last episode of the podcast with Craig talking about checks on the flight line, and it's very interesting that myself and two friends that have done probably 95% of our jumps together, we've got into the habit of checking each other's AADs on every single jump. And that's not just an ask, it's actual eyes on, making sure it's on, making sure they've got our offsets, which we have already pre-programmed, are in place. I even feel quite exposed if someone else does a flight line check for me and they ask rather than they check visually. It's just become the normal. It's become a habit. Not a bad habit, I don't feel, but it's interesting, the feelings that come up when someone does something differently. So yeah, it's we had quite a spike in really intense gear checks at Langer, but it's sort of drifted away a little bit. I'm still trying to ask people what mode they're in, but sometimes I get a bit I have started to forget what mode they're in and what offset they've got. And I think it's quite an interesting question to ask. You get some good answers there. Yeah, and I think more might come up out of that subject in future episodes. So thank you very much for sending voicemails into us. If you know us personally, you can send a voice memo on your phone to us. If you don't know us personally, you can email it to studio@radioskydive.uk. We love to hear from you. Or you can, if you're feeling lazy, just post on social media and tag #Radio Skydive UK. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much. Congrats on the medal, Craig. You didn't get to go around in Concorde though.
No, but I did get to go around a VC10, which was cool. So my father-in-law
Describe a VC10. Passenger plane, bomber.
Yeah, passenger plane, but used by the military, by the RAF, quite a lot. Engines towards the rear. Apparently the Queen's favourite plane because it was nice and quiet.
Okay.
Yeah, was not a great success. Was very powerful. Yeah, blah blah blah.
Fair enough.
But the
And my
reason why I
favorite,
mentioned it is because my father-in-law was a navigator on VC-10s for many years and commanded the VC-10 squadron. So that was quite cool. Always love a VC-10 when I see them.
and my favorite plane, the BAC 111. I don't know what it is,
But
but it's got my initials, so I love it.
oh yeah, blood alcohol content. Hadn't realised
That
that.
too.
But it has there's a skydiving ink to it because it BAC 111 has a tailgate as a stair at the rear, like the DC-9 that they have in Paris. So I went on board the plane, and the awards were held at Brooklands, which is a home of aviation. So I think the BAC 111 and perhaps even the VC-10. Am I right? But they had a lot of aircraft there that were designed at Brooklands many years ago because we used to have a very good aviation industry. Um, and they have a lot of volunteers sitting in the planes to tell the visitors about the planes. And so I was on board on the BAC 111 and said, "Oh, very interesting. You got to tell a rear stair, and you come in through that way." And I was telling them that there was an active DC-9 in the States that had the same, and people used to skydive out of it, and they couldn't quite comprehend it. They thought it was crazy. So it was a nice mix between, you know,
That's cool.
aviation history and skydiving that I got to share. So these people were full of information. They knew everything about these planes. So to pass on a similar story back to them, so they learned something was quite nice.
You like logging.
I love logging.
You've
I
just
love
done a
logging more than skydiving. I only skydive just so I can log skydives.
Do you want to hear a story that might frustrate you a little bit?
No.
I've just
Go on.
found 5 skydives.
How do you find 5 skydives? On an altimeter or on video
No,
or on
um,
verbal or
on Burble. So I've been testing this cloud-based
no
app that Chris
cloud-based?
may
Yes.
use, and we had loaded. So it logged into Burble, it downloaded all my jumps, but obviously it missed out a couple of thousand jumps from before Burble was existed. So I had a spreadsheet that went up to around about COVID on Excel, and we were testing it out. So I sent him that spreadsheet, and he downloaded the jumps. He put them in, and he was like, "Oh, there's." He uploaded 2,500 jumps, whatever it was. But he was like, "Oh, there's 5 jumps here on Burble that aren't in your spreadsheet." And then we looked into it, and I was there load organising in late October at Hibblestow, and I didn't have those in my logbook. I guess it was the last jumps of the year that year, perhaps. And for whatever reason, I didn't write them down, went away, didn't jump for a little bit, came back when the weather was better and forgot to write them in. So every momentous jump occasion I've had since my 3,000th and my 4,000th
It's been wrong by 5 jumps.
it's been 5 out. Yeah. So I'm like, fucking hell. Um, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Just like your birthday party isn't always on the day you celebrate, isn't actually always on the day of your birthday. Sometimes I don't think your jump number celebration should necessarily be on the exact jump number. But there you go. Mine clearly wasn't. We're working on it. We're working on it. It's got some really nice stuff going on with that app, but it also does log drop zones. But I don't know if it has 50 fields for drop zones. You've jumped at 50 drop zones now.
Yes.
That's pretty
So
good going.
yeah. Is it? I mean, yeah, I guess so. I was quite surprised. But then I've been jumping for a few years. My rate of acquisition of new drop zones has decreased. So let me I should have looked this up to see where the last new drop zone was. Let me just have a quick look while we're talking. So yeah, so I talked about it earlier that when I got this borrowed rig from this Mirage, this G4 that I hooked up, and I was jumping at a new drop zone for the first time. And that was Cornish Parachute Club, Skydive Cornwall. So just spent a week down there for half term with the wife and the kids, and just said, "Oh, we were staying in St Ives, which is not far from Perranporth, a bit further down the coast." I was like, "We're that close. I have to go and jump because it's, you know, It's a place in the UK, and it's a beautiful drop zone. Because you've been there, you did some wing sitting there, Brian, and you talked about it before on the show.
Yeah.
But because it was you talking, I didn't really pay attention, so no, I didn't pick anything up from it, and I should have gone back and listened to it. So I said to the wife, "Yeah, I'm gonna take my rig and do that," and she was okay with that, especially after our summer holiday last year in France, which was literally our apartment was right behind that drop zone that completely snubbed me and didn't respond to any of my emails because they only did tandems. But this was amazing. As a tandem instructor, one of the most common questions I get asked is where have you jumped in the world, and the second follow up to that is where's your favorite. And I'd normally say, everywhere's different. I've jumped in over Dubai, which is spectacular, and America is the middle of the desert, but it's still good because of whatever. But now I think Cornwall is probably, I'm going to say that as my answer now because it's just stunning. That coastline and being able to see that whole peninsula is just incredible. I just not just that, but I got on the plane and they have a 206 there, and I meant to
Black
look
and
this
orange
up in
one.
my yeah, I meant to look this up in my logbook as well because I have jumped to 206 before, but it's probably Charlie Echo at Langer 20 years ago, on a low cloud day, um, just to do some hop and pops. So it's been a while, but I have jumped on, and I got on board the aircraft, and I just found myself grinning. And they took off with the door opening in case there's any problems. You can get out, and I just had this massive grin on my face because I was sat in the door, hanging out the door, just seeing this beautiful countryside just, uh, you know, appear in front of me, and and in the 206 and just that view, I was just like, this is proper skydiving. I mean, maybe it's the fact that I didn't have somebody attached to me, or I wasn't holding on to somebody, and I was just all I had to worry about was myself. But I just had this huge grin on me that it was just like yeah, amazing. Just loved it, the view and just the whole experience. And even though I did a solo, I'm such a wuss. Like as I said, all these the Swiss cheese lining up this new rig, new drop zone or different rig. It's like I'm going to do a solo. I'm going to do a solo for the first time, even though there's only four people on board, five people, and one of the guys said, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you want to do something?" I was like, "No, I'm going to do a solo first jump." I was like, "Should I do a two-way with him?" No, no, no. I'm gonna, I just want to enjoy the view and get out and enjoy it and just make sure everything's okay. But I did hang around and did another jump so I could do a two-way with the guy who asked me. So that was good. So I got the best of both worlds. But yeah, no, absolutely incredible. If you've not been, heartily recommend it. Really great atmosphere down there, club atmosphere. So they have tandems in, but they were alternating loads between the tandems and the fun jumps. So and nobody was bothered. It's very laid back. None of the tandems were aggro because fun jumpers were jumping, and the fun jumpers, appreciated that the drop zone needs to make money, and were happy to wait, myself included, because it's again, it's unusual for me to not have to be, told to get on a lift to go and do something. I could just sit back and enjoy the view and watch it all going on and talk to some new skydivers I'd not met before. So I really had an amazing time. I had a lovely time. Even though I only did a couple of jumps there. It was, if you remember, the weather in UK was blinding last week, and as much as I wanted to skydive, I also wanted to get back to the beach with my family. So did a couple of jumps, but yeah, so really nice to add a new drop zone to the list of places I've jumped, and but a very special one there. So I've just looked it up. So last drop zone I jumped at was Algarve,
Oh, the
Portugal.
last new drop zone.
Yeah, and
Wow.
that was during COVID. We had a COVID break. It was one of the few places we could get there. So there must be we're talking 2021, perhaps 2021. So we're talking 5 years ago since I jumped at a last new drop zone. So yeah,
I have jumped at 34 different drop zones.
not bad going.
And my last new one was Skydive Chicago in July last year.
Ah, been there.
Yeah. But that doesn't include the in-hops because I've done quite a bunch of in-hops
Well,
now.
you should count those because it's a
They're
bit
not
like a
drop
base jump,
zones.
right? Yeah, it's
It's
PLAs. It's
yes,
PLA.
we used to drop zone, so that's why I
Okay,
differentiated.
okay. I wasn't being very specific, but yeah, I would say PLA because yeah, when you base jump, it's like Chirag is a drop zone basically, isn't it? But there's like, well, it's probably more now, but when I did Chirag 20 years ago, there were 8 different exit points. So that was you did land in the same place for most of them. The Eagle's Nest had a different. You landed back in the campsite, but most of you landed in the same place. But there were different exit points from the cliff, so you logged them differently. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'd log those differently. But there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I would just count those as different in-hops, and I should log those as well.
Yeah, but
Did a
no,
lovely one.
highly recommend it. If you get the opportunity to go and jump at Cornwall, do it because you won't regret it. Such amazing views.
Yeah. What did you use for a flotation device?
The club provided me one.
Okay, one of the small ones that goes on your chest strap.
It had like a Fastex buckle and it went around the waist.
Okay.
So it was quite small. It was only the size of a Coke can, I would say.
Oh, rest tube
Yeah,
extreme.
yeah,
Oh, okay. I just put that. I've got one. I put it on my chest strap.
yeah. So these were club ones. So they put them on longer straps. So you put them around your waist. So
I mean, it comes with waist straps, and then I just
okay,
the strap unbuckle. It comes out the
yeah.
loop, and you just fits onto your chest strap quite nicely. And I guess unless it's a 1-inch chest strap, then it would flap around a little bit, perhaps.
Because it was interesting. So Ben, the owner, Ben Wood, gave me the drop zone brief when I got there, and he said, "Have you ever done any water training?" And I said, "No, because it's not really a common thing in the UK. No drop zones have water hazards that require it. It's a very common thing in the States. It's a big thing, part of their certification, but I'd never, trying to think if I ever had the opportunity to do it when it was in the States. I don't know, but I never did it. So, yeah, so wearing a flotation device was unusual for me, but yeah, pretty much forgot it. The Spock was excellent. The winds were not an issue, and landed exactly where I wanted to be, which is always good. So you don't embarrass yourself when you've got 5,000 jumps jumping at you drop some. Unlike when I jumped in Portugal, uh,
Portugal.
which was
Was
very
that the one on borrowed gear? Or was that
yes
Italy?
on club kit, and I landed in because they had a strip out the front for 1,000 jumps plus.
Yep.
So I landed there, but because it was COVID, I hadn't jumped for ages, and again stressed out, new drop zone, borrowed gear. Even though it was quite a big canopy compared to what I was used to, I think I ended up sliding it in because I was flapping a bit. But yeah, didn't humiliate myself quite so much in Cornwall.
Good. Oh, I have had the best 10 days.
Go
In
on.
fact, the best 2 weeks. So I was in Clatterby. I ran
Oh
my
yes,
big race skills camp. We had 72
yes.
people. It went amazing. The weather was perfect. I think the most progression I've ever seen from a group there. It was absolutely stunning, unless you're Paul Remington when he couldn't make it. So it was absolutely terrible. Sorry, Paul. He had a nephew's wedding to go to. So he'd been my camera flyer on my primary camera flyer on every single trip up until this one. And when he couldn't make it. So Amber, Ruxton, Emily Orcott, and Pete Harris were camera flyers for this group, and Rob Kendall, Martina Vavakova were my other coaches. And it went great. And we did 23 jumps in Clatterby, of which 8 were single plane, one was an in-hop, one was a balloon jump, and then the other 13 were multiplane, just doing 13 multiplane skyvan jump, an in-hop, a balloon jump on the last night. And then for myself, Pete and Emily, we came home and we did the night 24 way. It's been a really incredible week. Nice. And then asked me what I'm supposed to be doing this weekend.
What are you supposed to be doing this weekend, Brian?
Oh, thank you for asking, Craig. I'm supposed to be doing some XRW.
Oh,
Yeah, the forecast doesn't look
that's
necessarily great, but
no, it doesn't, does
Langer,
it?
yeah, Langer. So I don't think the forecast is going to kibosh that, but fuck it. I mean, that would be such an amazing 2 weeks.
So
Like I'm kicking myself. Can't believe it.
who's the canopy pilot?
Joe Mann. and
Okay.
the wingsuit coaching from Ryan Garner. So yeah,
Okay. Joe
all part of the
Joe
plan.
posted a good video recently where he did a high pull and just spiraled the whole way down. He's
Yep.
called it a 5,130 degree turn. He was down in a minute and a half. It reminded me of the time when I was camera for the CFGB team at a world meet, I think, and I was on a Storm 97 and it was loaded over 2, and I think we were doing rotations, which comes down like a rocket because everyone's on the front risers just rotating down. And I think my canopy time for that was about a minute and a half, but that was exiting at, what did we used to exit at? 9,000 feet, 8,000 feet? I can't remember. So Joe was a good couple of
A
thousand
minute
feet
and a half
above
from
that.
9,000 feet.
Yeah.
What?
Maybe I'm mismounting it now. I'm going to have to look in my logbook again. Do you think I'm over exaggerating there?
Yeah, I do. 10 seconds
Uh,
for 1,000 feet, 60 mile an hour vertical speed. I don't know. Sounds fast for a canopy, especially if you're doing rotations.
let me
Maybe a minute and a half
you
in
can edit
working
out the
time.
gaps, can't you? Well,
No, I can't. Well, yes, I can. Will I? No.
so do you want to wait while I look it up in my logbook?
No, we're just going to end the podcast there.
CF
Leave our
World
listeners
Championship.
on the hang.
Okay, here we go. That was in Toiga. That's not, but that was 200 seconds. That's 3 minutes, but I think I went smaller than that. That was 2008. Let's just go. So it was Bunny Luca, I think. Oh God, so many.
So our back cover photo is this photo of yourself at your award ceremony with Lucy and
Is that the
another
one
lady
you're
from
going
British
with?
Skydiving. Yep. Who's the other lady?
That's Lizzie, head of governance, compliance, and safeguarding, and the company secretary for British Skydiving.
Okay, and you must be saying something far more intelligent and witty and articulate than you ever have done on the podcast, because they are fixated. They are transfixed. In
Enraptured
raptures,
is the
yes.
word I would use. Yes.
They
Hilarious.
only have eyes for you at that point. So Lucy Manzi was on the last
Here
show.
we go. I found it. Sorry, just quickly. Go on. Lucy was on the last show.
And she's in the picture.
Yes. So it was at the Mondial. It was at the Mondial in Dubai, and we were getting out at 7,000 feet, and my shortest canopy ride was 226 seconds.
So almost 4 minutes.
4 minutes. So maybe
So
not.
longer. So you didn't get out at 9,000 feet. You got out at 7. It's 1.5
Wasn't
minutes.
a minute and a half. It was 4. But apart from that, it was a pretty fast canopy ride. Close enough. I knew I should have
Almost
looked
close
it
to,
up. I should have left it as a cool story. Now I'm just humiliated.
almost as fast as Joe on his Valkyrie, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost as cool. Fantastic. Listeners, thank you very much for being here. If you want to check out the front cover photo, it'll be on Facebook. If you want to check out the back cover photo, our social media manager will get around to putting it up on Facebook at some point. And in the next couple of days, our Instagram is probably going to get a little bit of a makeover and look super sexy. But in the meantime, please subscribe. Please let us know. I've had some feedback from Red Bull. They want to future episodes. It might have an interview with Amber Forte, head of her English Channel crossing, on Thursday. I'm waiting to hear back from them. They asked how many listeners we get, and when I told them it was around about 1,000 per episode, they have not yet replied. So don't know if that's a good thing or not. We'll see. We'll see. It's we are niche. I understand that. 5,000 skydivers in the UK. There's not that many around the world, so we don't appeal to everyone. But we are her core audience and her peers. So hopefully they will make some time for us. Hopefully we'll get that 30-minute interview on Thursday, in which case there will be a post on Facebook asking for questions. And yeah, that will play out in the future. Listeners, stay safe, stay sane, stay calm, and make good decisions.